Hi guys, welcome to Table Talk. I'm Kessyl.
I'm Carol.
So before we jump into our topic for today, we would love to start off lightly. So Carol, tell me about your week.
So my week has been really eventful. I'm in the midst of moving.
Yep.
So Kessyl actually just gave me a massage before I started because I'm just so tired. Other than that, it's been a pretty eventful week in the news cycle as well. There are a lot of hearings on the Capitol Hills about like technology companies. So that's fun. And yesterday we got the new iPhone XX and X Max.
Yes.
Like we talked about last time. We're able to get a hold of them, and we actually did some tests of them. And we were able to bring in some tools and test how sturdy and strong the cases were. So check out that video.
Yep, she's a tech reporter, so you should totally like check it out and all the things that she's done in the tech world.
What about you? What did you do this week?
This week, I was always in the studio, but I went out yesterday for a shoot. There's this lady called Liu Xia, and they had it was her first formal appearance in New York City, and it was cool, like, you know, to go and listen to her firsthand. I'm sure some of you guys might know about her or not, but we're not going to dive into that today because our time is short.
Right.
But it's just it's something relating to freedom and how her husband has died, and she was under house arrest for like 8 years, and now she's finally freed, and she moved from China to Germany now. So like she's freed, and yeah, it's just a lot of story about politics and activists and things like that. So,
yeah. If the audience concerned about like freedom of speech, I'm sure, and if you're of Chinese descent, I'm sure you've heard of her. So we can also stay tuned, and hopefully you'll see that video pretty soon.
Right. So today we are going to talk about the tweet that has been, the hashtag on Twitter that has been going viral. It's called WhyIDidntReport. So over the past week, thousands of people have been tweeting using this hashtag to share why they didn't immediately go to the authorities after being sexually abused. This hashtag started gaining popularity after Donald Trump questioned the validity of the accusations of sexual misconduct made against U.S. Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh by Christine Ford. As you can see in this picture on the screen, it's a tweet by Trump last Friday, and we are going to go into the backstory, but since this picture is up, so this Supreme Court nominee, Trump is of course citing him, saying that he's a fine man. And on his tweet above, we can see that he says, quote, "I have no doubt that if the attack on Dr. Ford was as bad as she says," which meant that if this is really that bad, he would go straight to the law enforcement, but she didn't. So I want her to give us the proof. So that's why, as we are talking right now, actually, Kavanaugh is testifying in court, and Ford was just done with her testification for like 4 hours straight.
Yeah.
So, I mean, here's a 30-second clip that you should check out.
Brett's assault on me drastically altered my life. For a very long time, I was too afraid and ashamed to tell anyone these details. I did not want to tell my parents that I, at age 15, was in a house without any parents present, drinking beer with boys. I convinced myself that because Brett did not rape me, I should just move on and just pretend that it didn't happen.
Yeah, so a little backstory. What happened was this lady called Christine Ford, she had an encounter, according to her, which is, they say is an accusation against this Supreme Court nominee back in high school when she was 15, and that was more than 10 years ago. And it's just, she's testifying now in court about how she said she's 100% sure that it was Brett Kavanaugh. And so right now Kavanaugh is in court, of course, testifying and bringing his story. And just minutes ago, according to BBC, they released that Kavanaugh said, "This has destroyed my family and my good name." But, well, there's always two sides to this story, and we are not here to side on anywhere, but we are just bringing out the truth and report as it is. So it's so according to her soundbite, that it's a really long soundbite, it's a 5-minute video, but we just captured this 30 seconds clip. So she's telling the community that Kavanaugh barricaded her in a bedroom at a house party during high school and got on top of her and assaulted her. One of the reasons she said she didn't go to official immediately because he did not rape her. Right. So maybe she felt, oh, it's not as serious that I need to go to the police or things like that.
Right.
So yeah, over the years, she just convinced herself that she was not raped. So she just pretended that it didn't happen. But when it became clear that Kavanaugh was one of the Supreme Court nominees, she had a difficult time. But she knew that she felt she couldn't not do it. Means she has to present this truth. She is not to judge whether he deserved to be on the Supreme Court, but she has the right as a civilian to do her civic duty and just present the truth and her experience.
Right. Yeah, I think this is, we're not here to discuss like who is right or wrong. This is a he say, she say situation at this point. And to be honest, I had the whole hearing on the whole day, and I really do admire those senators and the two that's on the stand, because you do have to go through a really long and excruciating process of being constantly questions of things you've done or not done before. So I think for us, we're here to discuss why people or sexual assault or basically victims, why do they want to wait to come out to report things that's being done to them after such a long time? We don't know if Miss Ford's
Dr. Ford accusations is true.
We don't know if
it's true, but the judge will judge. And I mean, I actually came across an article by a Democrat named Ann Custer. She said it was true, because when I heard about this, I have this question in my mind, just like any of my friends or my coworkers, they're like, why did she come out after more than 10 years, Is she trying to, like what Kavanaugh said, destroy his name and his family.
Right.
So, but again, we never know what the victim is feeling at the moment. But Ann Custer, she published an article in USA Today. She said, quote, harassers have the luxury of forgetting based upon the lack of respect and empathy for their prey. Survivors cannot forget, on the other hand. However, we may try over the years to bury the flashes of memory. So it could be that maybe it happened and Brett forgot. Because according to this Democrat, she said that they forget based on the lack of respect and empathy. Right.
I mean, I do think if we can dive into more of, I guess, personal experience, I think I can totally understand why victims, they want to come out after 10, 20, or 30 years. Because a lot of times when things happen to you, it doesn't need to be like sexual abuse. It can be just any sort of abuse or bully.
It doesn't have to be like, oh, rape, then there's sexual abuse. Maybe
right. It doesn't have to be that particular.
What she said, according to her, she was barricaded.
Yeah, yeah. It can just be a simple conversation between me and you you say something that's really mean and hurtful towards me. Do I have the need, or do I know what I should do at the moment to protect myself? Not necessarily, because a lot of times when bad things happen to you, you just want to take a moment to digest and understand what's going on. And after that process, you're not really sure if it's still within the time frame for you to do anything. And even if you go and look for help, say telling someone else about the incident, does that really mean you are going to get your revenge, or you're going to feel better just by voicing, I guess, your part? Not necessarily. So a lot of times I can understand why victims, it would take them a long time to decide and process what they want to do with the situation. And I think we don't know if her story is true, but according to her, she wasn't really sure if it's like a legit sexual assault because there was no intercourse. But she was put into a situation that she was basically bullied and she was assaulted, right? And it's very much sexually assaulted. And when you are in your teenage years, you don't really know who you are. You don't really know what's the right thing to do or not. Right. You don't really know by telling your teacher or parents what would happen to you. So I can understand her reason, if it's true, that she wanted to, after all these years, now she knows who she is and she knows this guy's going to take on a really big role that can affect a lot of people in the country. she felt like she need to put this piece of information out for people to make a more educated judgment. I can't understand that.
Yeah.
So that's my take on this this hashtag.
But also, like, one of the reasons why they didn't come forward is also according to a guy who's 35 this year, and he's a man, and he got sexually assaulted before. And he said one of the reasons that he didn't come forward is because two things: fear and shame.
Yeah.
So we won't know how they feel until we are in their shoes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're gonna look at actually 5 tweets that I screenshot from Twitter and see what these people say. So the first tweet was hashtag why I didn't report, because I was convinced myself it was my fault that I chose to go to the party and drink. I was ashamed. I didn't want to face it. It was not a big deal. Little did I know how it would still affect me to this day. So a lot of times it happens because people are drunk and things like that. So for women, they'll be like, oh, I put myself in that situation. You know, maybe I tempted the boy, or I looked as if I wanted. Yeah. But actually.
Yeah. Still, like, even like me to this day, sometimes I still have that internal conversation with myself.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at the second picture. And this says, once I finally was able to bring myself to tell someone, a school teacher, the response I received was, you were drinking alcohol. So that didn't count. It's again the same thing.
Right. And you're being shamed.
When I was 12, my grandfather touched me repeatedly when I was visiting by myself. And my mother told me that I either misinterpreted his affection or I was making it up for attention. That was more than 20 years ago. That's a very sad situation, especially when your family's involved. And as a little kid, right? As a little girl, so. Yeah. And this, actually I know about this hashtag because of Kara, and she's one of my favorite models of all times. But I assume she's talking about Harvey Weinstein in this tweet, which happened when she said she was in a hotel room with Harvey Weinstein, and she said, can we look at the tweet again? Because I felt I was ashamed of what happened and didn't want to publicly ruin someone's life, even though they privately ruined mine. She actually posted an Instagram story post 11 months ago about how she was in a room with Harvey Weinstein, and she was actually, I think, sitting down to cast for a movie. And then Harvey Weinstein was like, are you gay? So there's this woman in the room, like, I want you to kiss her right now. But she didn't. And then she was like, she jumped off, and then she was like, hey, you know what? I can sing. She was trying to, like, you know, chill, make the situations chill and be like professional and like audition for and things like that. And then, but in the end, when she wanted to leave the hotel room, and then Harvey Weinstein was like, I think, pressing against her, wanting to kiss her on the lips. But I'm not sure if that happened. But I'm assuming that this tweet was referring maybe to Harvey Weinstein. It was another incident. Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I think you can imagine, like, by telling people, put this kind of things under the light to the public, what benefit do you get, right, as a victim? A lot of times you don't necessarily feel you're being comforted or you get your revenge. So, like, after reading all those tweets, what do you feel? Do you feel like it kind of gives you more of an understanding of why people would react that way, like holding it back, and then one day when they have an epiphany, they decide to come out and then tell their stories? Right. I mean, it's like again, I said, why did like Dr. Ford come out when Brett Kavanaugh is nominated as one of the Supreme Court nominee, you know? So it's like, is this, I know, like someone is trying to harm him or things like that. Right. But again, like after that's a very logical fair judgment, right? Yeah. But again, like after all these tweets, people come out 30 years later, 20 years later, 4 years later, when what happened at 12, when they are 12, they come out when they are 61, you know? Yeah. So, which I would really like to tie into a personal story of a friend, if we already talk about it. I'm not gonna name her, but let me call her Stacy. So it was storytelling time. But I texted her and I asked for her permission if I could share this, and she said yes, as long as I kept her name anonymous. So Stacy, let's call her Stacy. I think it was a night. It's college, 2017. Well, I feel like it's so heavy right now. But we're sitting, you know, in our living room. Oh, did they just turn off the AC? I was sitting in the living room. I think there were like maybe 6 of us. We were just having a good time. We were playing cards, I think, and a little drinking. But we were all sober. Right. And then so 6 of us, and this 2 of these guys is a friend of our friend from another university. So they came into town for a visit. And so yeah, let's hang out together, you know. And then so my friend Stacy is like, oh, one of these guys is pretty cute. I'm like, yeah, he's cute. Sure. I'm like, oh, you're interested? Sure, like you guys can talk, and you know. It's just the college kids having fun and like, oh, no boundaries, like, oh, it's just having fun. No big deal.
Right.
So yeah, we're just like playing cards and drinking, and they started talking, and we all found him cute, and like he's nice, and we were all friends, and I left early because I had something to do, and I don't know what happened after, but the next day I came back and I told her, hey, how was last night? Like, how's that guy? You know, we all trying to be funny.
This was your roommate, college roommate? Or?
I wouldn't say she's my roommate, she's my friend.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so one of my college friends. And then, so she told me, yeah, something happened. I'm like, sure, wow, great, you like him, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, but I didn't want to do it. So I'm like, so why did you let him do it? Is that rape? But she's like, so she told me the details, and she said that, oh, this is harder than I thought. It's like chills. It's like, I don't want it to send.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy topic. Yeah.
Right. But she's a good friend of mine. So at that time, I'm like, hey, do you want to make a police report?
Yeah.
Because I feel like as a friend, right?
Yeah.
Like I should be a good friend.
Yeah.
So if you can't do that for yourself, I will do that for you.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but she said, no, I don't want. It's not a big deal. Like I don't want to like. He's from another university. I don't want to like make a big fuss and like.
And she's like,
there's no proof. You're all adult. We're having fun. But she felt. I texted her. I wanted to call her, but she was busy. So I said, hey, can you remind me again what you were feeling at the moment, because I don't want to get this wrong. And she said, I felt scared and I felt weird. That was what I felt at the moment. She didn't elaborate more. But so the details was, I think they wanted to do it, and then he wanted it, but she didn't want it. So he was like angry. Like, why didn't you want to do this?
Right.
So it's like, I just don't want. I felt uncomfortable. He's like, okay, sure. And I think he kept pushing her, and she felt bad. So she did it. So it was out of guilt that she do it. She didn't want him to be upset. But, yo, you just met this man tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why do you care if he's upset or not? Like, don't be a baby. Get out of my room, you know? So I told that to her. I was really mad. But she's like, hey, I'm an adult. And as a friend, I respect that.
Right. So
I respect that.
So she never felt like she wanted to report it.
No, nothing.
She told.
I don't think she told anyone. Yeah, not even like. Yeah, she just. I feel like as a woman, it's gonna affect you.
Right.
I don't know if these things happen to me. I think I'm gonna be affected. It's my body, you know. It's something. It's not just my body. It's something really emotional. So
I think it's gonna be a combination of you. Letting this happen to you. You feel in a way you're being validated, but at the same time, you also blame yourself for letting this, you yourself letting this happen to you. So I think it's a combination of emotions, and you just...
you're not sure if, this is a gray area. It's not like, oh, he raped me. I didn't want it. But it's more like, hey, I think I said yes, like in this situation, because I didn't want him to be upset, but I didn't really want to do it. Right. So it's like, it's a gray area. What am I going to tell the police? It's like, oh, then she thinks about, oh, it's a report, and you know, it's gonna go on forever. Yeah,
it's gonna ruin his life. It's gonna ruin my life, kind of. So
it's very vague. Like there's no recording. There's nothing. There's no proof, I guess.
Yeah.
So after all the tweets that we read, maybe this is also one of the reasons why they don't want to carry forward. I've read tweets that say, oh, they actually went ahead with the police report, and there's like filings and things like that, but nothing happened.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of situation would just go unreported, because like we talked about before, what does it, like for your friend, right? How is she gonna feel better after doing the reporting? Maybe for some people, they don't necessarily feel like it will bring them peace of mind. For me, when I feel like I'm being put into a situation like that, Sometimes because I don't like to upset people, I don't like confrontation. So a lot of times I let things happen to me that I guess I could have, if I was stronger, I probably should have stand up for myself and have a full-on confrontation and just, you know, not expecting to please everyone. But some of us are not like that. Some of us, we just don't.
I think when you're in a situation, you can, like, we are two of us, like, oh, I'm gonna, like, you know, report it. But when it happened on us personally, hey, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'm really scared, I'm ashamed, I fear. I'm not gonna do it like all those people on Twitter.
Yeah.
So I can't speak for them to be like, you should have done it. Like, why don't you care about your body?
Yeah.
So you're not gonna know until you are in that situation.
Yeah. So this is it's a constant conversation I have with myself. Like what would make me happy, right? At the end of the day, I'm responsible for my decisions. A lot of times, yes, I'm being put into a situation that I don't desire. And when is a good time to stand up for myself? And should I be comfortable with the awkwardness that's going to come after that confrontation? Yeah. I think as you grow older, you know yourself better. You know that sometimes it's okay to lose a friend. It's okay to make the situation awkward just to protect yourself. But that takes experience and that takes time. Yeah. So when you are just a teenager, when horrible things happen to you, I can understand why you don't know what to do about it, and sometimes you just never report it, and sometimes you never tell anyone. But I guess lucky for your friend, she has someone like you that she really trusted. So at least she had like a tiny outlet for that emotion.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, at the end of the day, it's the person's choice. I mean, the victim's choice and what she decided to do that she felt respected or what she thinks is best for her. Yeah. So I guess that's all the time we have for today. And like, what are your thoughts on this hashtag, why didn't I report? And as the hearing comes to a close, I believe maybe it'll be over in 3 hours. So you feel free to leave your comments below, and for more news and to figure out what we are doing, you can follow me on my Twitter at HeyKessyl.
And I'm Carol C4, I think.
Again, she forgets every time. I'm upset.
No, actually, sorry, it's Summer C4.
Carol C4.
Summer C4, my name is Carol, but the hashtag Summer C4, yes.
All right, so
that's a happy episode.
Yep, yeah. All right, so, but again, like, I feel like what you want us to talk about, you know, feel free to come to our Twitter and tell us and leave in the comments below. So we'll see you next week.
Bye.